Like the title of the video says, we are going to be covering Protea's third ability, Dispensary. Now, what is Dispensary? How is it used? What is it good for? Now, this is kind of interesting because while it is an extremely simple skill, the simple thing that it does actually combos and synergizes with a lot of things in Warframe. So I'm going to try to cover everything that I can think of, at least. If you guys can think of anything to add, please let me know in the comment section below, because I don't know everything. I'm just doing my best out here. So let's go ahead and take a look at Dispensary and see what it is and what it does. So first off, you deploy a device that generates 3 different kinds of pickups after a short delay. Now, that delay is only really there for the first set of for the first set of mods. From what I can tell, and I'm not exactly sure, but in some testing, this thing actually goes through a rotation based on time, whether it's out or not. So what that means is, if I throw this thing down and it starts generating pickups, it may or may not throw them out extremely quickly or have a brief delay, and we'll kind of get into a little bit more on that later. So you generate 3 different types of pickups after a short delay: an empowered health orb, a universal ammo pack, or a normal energy orb. So empowered health orbs basically give you 100 health on pickup instead of the normal 25. Universal ammo packs can be used with all types of ammo. They aren't a whole lot of ammo. However, you can get a lot of ammo packs from these, especially if you build into strength, which we'll talk about. So the ammo packs are universal, and that's their main strength. So if you have a weapon that eats a lot of ammo, or a specialty type weapon that doesn't use common ammo, then this thing is going to be really nice for you. And then finally, normal energy orbs. These are the 25 energy variants. Now, looking at the stats themselves, we only have 3 stats here, and you'll notice range isn't on here. Range does nothing for this skill. Range actually scales, it literally doesn't scale in any way, shape, fashion, or form. It kind of seems like it might at first, just with how these orbs get shot out of the dispensary, but it is truly random. Sometimes they'll shoot way up in the air, sometimes they'll barely come out. They're almost always extremely close to the dispensary. It is fired in sort of a parabolic arc, so even though it might shoot really high, it won't go that far away from the dispensary. So range isn't a factor, and you'll never have to worry about your orbs being shot out into the middle of nowhere. The duration is 25 seconds. There is that little short delay, and especially considering the fact that you don't always want certain orbs, duration is pretty important for this skill. Now, that being said, the order of orb generation is always the exact same, and it is in the listed order that it says. It will always generate the health orb first, the ammo pack second, and the energy orb third. What does that mean? Well, whenever you use this ability, let's say you don't care about the energy, you only want the ammo, you're going to have a brief delay for getting that ammo pack, right? It's going to take a little bit to get that ammo, because first the health orb has to generate, and there's like a little tiny 1 second delay in between each orb generation. So duration is kind of important. It is definitely one of the stronger stats for this skill, but strength is probably the strongest, and we're going to talk about that next. So Dispensary has a chance, when it generates an orb, to actually generate 2. So when it generates 2 orbs, that is basically going to be twice the strength. However, it's a little bit more than that too. So whenever you generate an item from Dispensary, that item lays on the ground. So Dispensary will generate health, and then ammo, and then energy, and it will stop. It will not generate anything else until you consume those items. So if you consume the energy orbs, then it will generate more energy orbs. If you consume just the ammo, it'll generate more ammo. What does this mean? Well, if you actually summon Dispensary and let it go through its cycle, it'll generate all 3 types. And let's say I use an ammo-less weapon like Shadow, right? So I have my Shadow here. If I use Dispensary and it starts generating items, I will never care that the ammo drops, right? So I have this ammo here. It literally does nothing for me ever, right? It just doesn't matter. So keep in mind, ammo-less weapons can help scale your energy components a lot easier. Let me go ahead and turn off my Helios. We're going to talk about that mod here in a second. But getting back to it, yeah, if you want to increase the rate that you're picking up the energy and the health orb components, then you're going to want to run a weapon that doesn't use ammo. And there's not a whole lot of these, but the ones that are in the game, there's some pretty decent ones, and it'll allow you to keep your other abilities up more often because your dispensary isn't spending time throwing out ammo packs. It's throwing out health or energy packs. So this can be really, really powerful for that. Also, though, if you do have a weapon that uses a ton of energy or you have a rare type, it is going to be good for that too, because it is universal. It'll give you your sniper ammo back or whatever kind. So getting back into the card here, let's go ahead and take a look. We have that extra pickup chance is 25%. Now that does scale with ability strength, and our passive also scales ability strength. So what does that mean? Well, if we were to run Blind Rage with our passive being procced on the cast of Dispensary, that would give us a 75% extra pickup chance. That is very, very strong for generating orbs or ammo or whatever you're going after in the build. So like I said, even though it's a simple ability, it actually synergizes already with a lot of different items or builds and things like that. So getting further into it, we see that efficiency is okay. It does cost a lot to use the skill, but because we're generating energy orbs, it's not that important. And when we look at the options we have for upgrading our efficiency, it gets even a little bit worse. So fleeting expertise is one of our efficiency options. This thing is going to lower our duration, which is in general not good for her abilities. Almost every ability she has really scales well with duration, some of them it being their primary stat. So fleeting expertise is not a good option. And if we go with streamline, it actually doesn't reduce us down below 50 for the cost. Now, why is that important? Well, in ESO, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, you start with 50 energy. So the only reason I would think of to run efficiency at all is just so that I can immediately cast Dispensary at the start of an ESO round, and this doesn't get us there. So efficiency is pretty bad on this ability, and really on her abilities in general. Like it's kind of okay on Blaze Artillery if you want to like pump out all 3 Blaze Artilleries at once. But in general, it's not going to be super meaningful to most of her abilities. So efficiency isn't really a great, it doesn't scale well with the mods, it doesn't do a lot, we get energy back anyway, so efficiency is kind of a bad stat. Range does nothing, duration is pretty good, strength is very good. Now one note on strength, so the special effect that we get from running strength is that we can have a chance to generate multiple orbs. Now, I'm actually going to pop this down here, and I'm going to try to do this as best I can, but it's a little weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate this, and we're going to start popping out. You're probably going to see 2. So we're seeing 2 ammos, so yeah, very, very likely to get 2 of everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one of these energy orbs as best I can. There we go. So I picked up 1. Now, if we sit here and wait, you see we've had plenty of time to generate a second set of orbs. It will not do that. So remember, Dispensary can only have 1 set of items at a time. What effectively this means is we don't ever really consume all of whatever it quote-unquote spawned. So when you use Dispensary, you have to pick up both ammo packs, both health packs, both energy packs. Now that being said, these rules don't follow if there is a different set of things, right? So if I have if I've spawned a second Dispensary over there, it won't matter that these are still on the ground. It doesn't care. It will generate a new set of health orbs, a new set of ammo. But for that specific Dispensary, you do have to consume those items that it generated completely. So if it generated a second one, you have to pick up both. Another big thing to note is that you can never have more than one dispensary up at a time. So we have one dispensary there. Let me go ahead and get some energy. And when you see me spawn the second one, it will immediately disappear even though we have like 10 seconds left on this one. So that one goes away. So yeah, you can only ever have one dispensary. It is immobile. There is no way to move it that I have figured out how to do. It doesn't leash with you ever. So if you choose to build around dispensary with all of the things that it gives you, it will make you immobile. But strength is a very strong scaling for that ability. So jumping back in here, let me go ahead and remove our blind rage real quick. I probably said that wrong last time. I don't know. I always mix the name up with like primal rage and stuff like that. Anyway, so we've looked at all of the stats, the normal stats that we put on abilities: efficiency, range, duration, and strength. However, this is where this ability gets a little bit more interesting in the way that it scales. So it scales with literally almost everything that generates energy and armor orbs. So what does that mean? Well, let's go ahead and look over here, and we should be able to find most of these right here. And then we're going to jump into, and I'm just going to spawn most of these things, or not spawn, but put most of these things on my character real quick so we can do some testing here in a second. So looking at this, we have energy conversion. Whenever we pick up an energy orb, our next ability cast gets 50% more ability strength. That gives us even more chance for a dispensary to add another orb. So we go from probably 75% roughly to like 88% roughly chance. So it isn't super great if you're proccing it with your passive and if you are running blind rage, but it's really good for your other abilities too. In general, she scales very well with ability strength because two of her abilities are very, very strong at scaling with strength, both Blaze Artillery and her grenades, both the offensive and the defensive versions. So energy conversion is almost always going to be a staple of your Protea builds if you're taking advantage of your dispensary. Now health conversion is a little different. It's a little bit more niche. So whenever you gain health orbs, you gain a bunch of armor, stacking up to 3 times. These things fall off pretty slowly as well. Taking damage consumes a stack after 3 seconds. So if you have 3 and you get hit, it'll go down to 2 after 3 seconds. So that means you're going to have 9 seconds of very high armor if you have stacked these. Now, health conversion is almost always going to be a way better armor upgrade for Protea than the normal scaling like steel fiber and even umbral. Even a full set of umbrals aren't going to scale like health conversion scales. It's just a lot of flat armor. However, you don't really get to take advantage of armor that much on Protea with her normal shield build. So what I would recommend, she's not that great at scaling health. She's very average at it. But she has a decent sized health pool, and she has a decent sized energy pool and a decent sized shield pool. Her shield pool is a little big. That's where I normally scale her. But what this kind of means is we can do a quick thinking build very effectively on her. Given the fact that we can replenish our health very quickly, having armor makes our health more effective, and having armor makes our quick thinking energy conversion even more helpful. So having adaption plus quick thinking and health conversion is an insane setup to actually get very, very tanky very, very quickly. So that is how I would do the armor portion. I probably wouldn't scale her using normal health, though an umbral build wouldn't be horrific on her, just like it's not horrific on really anybody. It's just very hard to get those umbral formas to make the builds possible, to have like really high cost, really strong mods on them. So health conversion is great for a quick thinking build, but I wouldn't use it outside of that. Now equilibrium, this is the part where it gets a little crazy in terms of energy efficiency. So health pickups give a percentage of your energy back, not percentage of your energy, but a percentage of the orb's value. and that's going to be important here in a second. And then energy does the same with health. So the reason this is important is because this ability doesn't give us normal health orbs. It gives us big health orbs. Those give us 100 health, which means if we have equilibrium, if you had maxed it out, unlike me, you get 110 energy every time you pick up a health orb, and you would get, 28 health every time you pick up an energy orb. This means if we're running equilibrium, picking up health is actually going to be more efficient than picking up energy for restoring our energy. It's going to make us essentially an unlimited battery for ourselves. Now, that being said, other allies aren't going to have that access to equilibrium, so even though Dispensary is sort of a support skill for the group, they're not going to be able to have that big health conversion. Now, that being said, when you're generating so many health orbs, they're most likely going to be full health most of the time if they have shields already. Now, if they're like a Naros or something, they're always going to be getting chipped. So that those health orbs are going to get shared between your group, but equilibrium is extremely strong because it'll give you basically unlimited energy all the time. It's very, very strong, and I threw Prime Flow on here just so we can kind of see that. So let's go ahead and generate some orbs, and we're going to see the combo, and you're actually going to see that the combo doesn't quite work yet. So we have our ammo. I can't pick it up because I have ammo full. I can pick up these energy orbs because, I'm not max energy. The health orbs, though, I can't pick up. And a lot of you already know where I'm going. I saw comments in one of my other videos about this already. And that is the fact that we need a specific mod for our companion slot. So we have a mod called Synth Fiber. I highly recommend this if you're going with a health anything build, a health orb build of any kind. So health orbs increase the armor of your companions by 100% for 12 seconds. Holstering, blah, 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 blah. So the bottom part is pretty nice in general. However, the top part is what we're going after. Not only does it make your companion have double the armor, it is an actual multiplier. It isn't additive with things like fiber, those kind of things. But it allows for you to pick up orbs just to give your companion armor. Why is this important? Well, whenever you have full health, you can't pick up health orbs, so you can't use them with equilibrium to convert into energy. But if we have Synth Fiber, we can do that. So now that I have Synth Fiber on my Helios, I picked those up, and you saw my energy jump. So whereas these normally give me 25, a little bit more with Xeneric, whenever I have health orbs, you're going to see me jump crazy amounts of energy all the time. Now, even if I pick up health immediately, it will spawn the others in order. So it will always do that. But notice, we're getting tons and tons of energy from this setup. And we effectively have infinite energy like this. Dispensary, once you get one of them online, you have infinite energy as long as you're willing to be a little bit immobile. Now, a couple weird mods that I kind of want to talk about and mention real quick. I did test scavenger mods with these ammo packs, and they didn't seem to work. I don't know if that was simulacrum testing. I did it a little bit out in the world too, and I didn't get good results. I didn't see an increase, so I don't know if these things are coded exactly like it. I did use the shotgun scavenger to do my testing, specifically with the Astilla, and I believe the Astilla got 12 energy back, or 12 ammo back from these things, whether I had scavenger on or not. So I'm not exactly sure what was going on there. Maybe there's some sort of rounding issue because I never even leveled my scavenger. I should probably go back and do that just to see if maybe there's a rounding issue. But I mean, 12 should very easily scale. You guys know that. So I'm fairly confident that it just doesn't work on these things. And then the final mod that I kind of want to say is there is a mod called Scavenging Shot. Or Energizing Shot, I'm sorry, for pistols. I haven't leveled mine all the way up. You don't really need to, but it allows your secondaries to be a ranged pickup for energy orbs, so you can pick both of those up. Now, more often than not, you're gonna have vacuum on your companion. in some way, shape, or form. But this is pretty nice if you don't need your Exilis slot for anything else. So I think that's going to cover it for the ability, guys. I'm going to do a quick recap of everything that I kind of covered here. First of all, how do the normal stats scale up with Dispensary? You have very little need for efficiency. You have absolutely no use for range, at least for this skill. Remember, guys, this is only for this skill. I'm not talking about the other skills when I'm talking about these stat scalings. Strength is very strong for this skill, and duration is very strong for this skill. It scales with a lot of mods. However, I will say this, in order to get health conversion, energy conversion, equilibrium, synth fiber, you're talking about a 4 mod investment across both your companion and yourself. So keep in mind, it is a very strong combo, but it will require investment. If you're going to use health conversion, probably do a quick thinking setup. It's going to be stronger that way. Energizing shot is great if you don't need an Exilis on your secondary, and you have something long range where you can pick up energy orbs. This will allow you to kind of get away from your dispensary and just turn around every once in a while and pick up both of those energy orbs. So that'll allow you to give you some range, some AoE distance from your dispensary. But if I missed anything or misrepresented anything, please let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.